Hello everyone, and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. You know, it's always important to understand the big picture when you're looking at anything that requires a judgment being made. Everything, every choice needs to be done in view of the big picture. This is, after all, the whole underpinning of our salvation. Every moral choice we make needs to be done in view of heaven or hell, and heaven or hell are for eternity. While we're on Earth, all sorts of competing philosophies exist. They get different labels and talked about and proposed as the solution for this ill or that malady. One extremely influential philosophy today is liberalism, has been for a while, and it has repackaged itself now under the new name for it, of progressivism. The word liberal had taken on such a bad connotation that liberals had to change their label, so now liberalism calls itself progressivism. But as Shakespeare eloquently reminds us, a rose by any other name, or in this case, a fetid corpse by any other name, would still emit the same stench. Progressives are scattered throughout the culture, in universities, in the media, in the courts, and the church, as well as the Republican and Democratic parties. They all share the common conviction that man's deepest problems can be solved by man alone. This is false. Man's deepest problems emanate from man himself, from his fallen human nature. Original sin had worked its devastating effect on us and left us all terminally wounded. But progressives deny this truth, in practice if not in fact, so they set out on a course to solve the ills of humanity by human effort without reference to the spiritual reality of sin. So they establish social structures and political alliances and government programs to achieve their goals. Now, as we said earlier, progressives exist everywhere. They are present, for example, in each political party. The label Democrat or Republican doesn't really tell you as much as those parties would like you to think. That's why the term rhino has come into vogue, Republican in name only. The Republican Party platform calls for an end to abortion, for example, but many heavy hitters in the Republican Party are either pro-abortion or very lackluster in their support of pro-life initiatives. Likewise, the label Democrat doesn't automatically mean that someone supports abortion. There is, after all, a small number of Democratic politicians who consider themselves pro-life Democrats. Now, certainly there are many more progressives among the Democrats than the Republicans, but the main point here is that labels can be a tricky thing. Which brings us to an examination of the label Catholic, and the question, is it true that just because someone is Catholic that they are not a progressive? In other words, are there Catholics who hold a progressive view of the world? Sadly, the answer is yes. Even more sadly, there are many of them. It is this truth that has given rise to the acronym CHINO, Catholic in name only. Like rhinos, Republicans in name only, CHINOs stand under the banner of the church, but do not support many of the teachings. They are the progressives in the church, who hold the view that the church's primary duty is to lift man out of poverty and reduce global warming and eradicate the sinful structures of earthly governments. They seek to establish the heavenly kingdom on earth without any substantive reference to heavenly truths. Faithful Catholics can certainly disagree about various ways in which our social ills should be solved or approached, but we cannot disagree on the core issues that make us Catholic. Catholic money should not be going to groups that either directly support abortion or so-called same-sex marriage or surround and associate themselves with other groups that do. But the reason millions of dollars have gone to such groups is because progressive-minded people in the church share some of these self-identified progressive groups' goals. And remember the big picture. These groups start at an entirely different point than the church when it comes to social ills. They believe the answer involves abortion, contraception, same-sex marriage, sterilization, etc. The U.S. Bishops' Conference should not have any association with these groups, period. They are opposed to the truth of the church. That makes them enemies of the faith. Pray for them, absolutely. Fast for them, certainly. Try to convert them, we're commanded to. But do not fund them. I'm Michael Voris.
Please help us keep delivering these kinds of messages that so desperately need to be heard and acted on. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber. Become immersed in the faith established by Jesus Christ. The Catholic Church is the only hope against evil because that is its God-given mission. As our Lord said, apart from me, you can do nothing. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber and come to learn and love Christ more deeply.